I'm Em. I go by maxedvisa. I am an artist, a DJ, event organizer here in Toronto, and I'm 1/3 of Art Show Near Me. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. I grew up there. I spent a lot of my adolescence in music, with whether that was like piano, accordion. I come from a very Irish musical background, so I was doing like trad sessions like at pubs, or I was also in my dad's like Irish band. So we played a lot of music together, and that was super important, and I think super foundational in kind of how I came back to music later on. I moved to Ottawa to go to university. I think I was mostly there to party and not so much for the undergrad degree, but yeah, I met some really cool people in nightlife, and actually one of my friends, he gave me a DJ board and was like, you know, get good. I booked out a venue in Ottawa and you're going to be opening. So I said yes. We were playing kind of deep house, some hard grooves, some like club edits, and whatever felt right. And yeah, an agent just happened to be in the audience, and that really was kind of what started to kickstart my career. From there, yeah, I was working freelance and working with this agent. It was right before COVID when that was really starting to pick up. That was in 2019. It was an interesting time, to say the least, in a very new period where we had to kind of continually innovate in order to keep this up. So I moved to Toronto in 2020, and that was around the time that I met my collaborators Sam and Saffron, the other 2/3 of Art Show Near Me. We played a show together and the energy just felt right. It really started as a way to, you know, help kind of bridge artists and local venues, and kind of like getting your art into a space, since it's very hard to do that with like gallery access to equipment and these sort of things. And I didn't think we knew at the time really how that was going to transform and morph into what ASNM is today. I think especially through COVID, like those under the bridge kind of raves, you know, a lot of these DIY parties that were starting to pop up, it was kind of almost out of a social necessity. And I think when those restrictions started to lift up, I think people were like, wow, we love those sort of like outdoor gatherings. It felt so like Toronto, like in the 90s, which was like, I think a really big factor for wanting to keep pushing the culture somewhere that was, you know, moving forward, but still paying homage to our roots. So yeah, I think it came out of a necessity to need to gather and to be together, and to explore different types of electronic music, because that's something that's kind of hard to find in the city. I would say I have a deep love in my heart for Detroit techno. I think there was a lot of similarities, you know, between Hamilton growing up in Detroit with this kind of post-industrial, desolated place where I think a lot of creativity kind of was kind of inspired and bloomed from that. I would say Juan Atkins, like Detroit legends, are a very big impact for me. Frankie Knuckles, Chicago, and just like learning, I think really studying and learning the history too of where the dance music you enjoy comes from. My family, they were big trad players. They really installed the importance of music into me at a very young age. I grew up listening to Sinead O'Connor, the Wolf Tones, like Republican, like Irish traditional tunes. And it wasn't until like later on that I kind of saw the connections between like, you know, the resistance of music and how like the trad music helped Irish people keep going. And that, like, when you can kind of see that solidarity and that connection of even Detroit, it's really cool to draw those parallels and see how music can be a really big factor in resilience and to keep going and connection and community. My one qualm with y'all: stop being behind the DJ booth. It's not cool anymore, unless that's your bestie and you're there to hype up and like, you know, for a minute, but go to enjoy the music. Seriously, like go out and dance. I think a lot of our friends, we talk about this quite often, is like when you're truly a dancer in your heart and, you know, go out to kind of have that sort of, you know, escape and like kind of just moment with community. Like just go out to dance, buy your ticket, support your friend. You know, you're lonely, say yes, just go out to that thing. You might not want to. I've had that feeling sometimes, and then I've gone out and had like the greatest night of my life. Art show near me. We've got a lot of things in works, which are very exciting. Not to be like that local DJ that's like big things coming soon, but big things coming soon. I think definitely I see us, you know, doing a lot more collaborations with local party series in the city. I see more sort of like immersive installations. I also see international moment, perhaps. So we've got a lot of things in the works. For maxedvisa, I'm really starting to settle into my sound and what I feel like is me now. I think a big thing too will be starting to really hone in production. I have a goal of getting some releases out finally. I think I'm really excited to see where the nightlife culture in Toronto is heading. It's been really nice to see the pop-up of DIY, and especially with kind of the commodification of dance culture, the commercialization of the rave or the sound system. It's really nice to like feel like you found people who, you know, want to continue almost like the traditions of the underground.